Welcome to Staying Aligned. This is the place where, as Christian leaders, we cut through the noise and stay grounded in what actually matters. You're trying to live a life with purpose, make clear decisions, and stay steady in a world that pulls you in 10 directions, and you're in the right place. My name is Chad Nedlin, and each episode we're going to look at what is happening in the world around us, in culture, in business, and in everyday life, and bring it back to one simple question. How do I stay aligned with God's calling while everything around me is trying to distract me? This is not about hype. This is not about opinions. It is about clarity, conviction, and walking out your calling with intention. Today, we're going to unpack something a little interesting. Not from fear, not from reaction, but from alignment. So take a deep breath, clear your head, and let's get into it.
Hey, welcome. How are you today, wonderful leaders? I want to talk to you about pulling back the veil of authority. Now, what do I mean by that? The reality is that most of us, when we enter into that position of authority, we carry with it the weight and the burden of what that position holds and how we affect the world around us. We show up postured as the authority, as the leader, as the one in charge, the one who knows the way. And often what happens is there's this curtain that's placed in front of us where they see what we present instead of being able to see exactly who it is that we are and how we show up on a regular basis. So what I want to do is help you to identify what this curtain is that sits in front of our face and how it affects us on a daily basis. See, oftentimes we show up and we think that we have to live up to the standard of this position. We have to live up to the standard of leadership. But what God has called us to do as Christian leaders, as entrepreneurs, businessmen, ministry leaders, He's called us as who we are. He created us to be us, but He's given us the task of leadership and building out our network, building out our ministry, building out the purpose that He's called us for. But we get stuck in this visual bondage of how we're supposed to show up, what we're supposed to look like, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to communicate. But we step back from this being part of who has God created us to be. Now, when we look at a veil that was torn, we're talking about that veil that was the separation, the holiest of holies in the temple. And that veil was torn when Christ became victorious over death, right? But there is a veil. It wasn't there for a point of separation so much. I offer this new perspective. Maybe instead of it being a point of separation, maybe this veil was actually there to invite an understanding or announce what was about to be entered into. So when you show up, this veil of authority, this veil of leadership, it shouldn't be the thing that people stand outside and stare at this curtain, stare at this veil. What they should see is an invitation to go deeper and to understand that one-to-one intimate position with you. It's not a point of separation anymore. The veil has been torn. Therefore, we should no longer hide behind the curtain of authority, the curtain of leadership. We should openly show up, bear all. Right? I'm not saying, oh, vulnerability, tell all your saddest stories. That's not what it's about. It's about not hiding behind position, not hiding behind the role that you were given, and showing up authentically as God created you to be so that you can more effectively approach and interact with the world around you in a way that makes sense and impacts people in a more powerful way. When we show up this way, we're showing up not as something hidden, but as someone who is accessible, someone who is there to build relationship with. See, Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. They hear me and they know my voice. Sheep have a relationship with the shepherd. They know his voice. They know he's there to serve and to protect and guide and lead them to good water and lead them to a place of rest and protect them from the wild as well. That's what we're called into, is to shepherd, to lead and to guide. Yes, we have authority as given to us by God, but we also have that responsibility to foster relationship so that they can come and know and trust us. So I invite you today to not just sit back and say, I have a job to do, but to actually get in alignment with the way that God called us to lead. So identify a specific area of your life, which maybe you have been hiding from publicly sharing. Maybe it's a struggle in your life. Maybe, like for myself, after my dad passed away, I struggled with my weight because I spent a lot of time just sitting inside the house and caring for dad and being with the family and trying to navigate all those things. And I put on additional weight, and it became a struggle for me to try and get rid of that weight. Now, if I hide that behind, I'm the leader, I'm the authority, blah, 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 but I'm not willing to be vulnerable with that, maybe there's somebody who's struggling in bondage to food cravings, but they don't know how to reach out to me because I'm just not accessible. I posture differently. It makes it feel as it's uncomfortable to approach me. But if I share that openly with someone, if I share openly about the loss of my son, then people have that doorway. The curtain gets pulled back. They can relate to that aspect of your life. They can see a way to start that communication, that conversation, and you'll be able to more effectively move forward. So I invite you today to not just sit back idly, but to actually reach forward powerfully and say, what can I share about my life in a way that will open the door for me to lead more effectively in all that I do? So with that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Remember, stay aligned. There is beauty, there is grace, and there is greatness within you. Now go and share that with the world today. We'll talk soon.